Okay, hi everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined today by Jeni Smith, founder of NetKno, and today we're going to be talking about networking. So this conversation came about quite fittingly for me when we met at certainly my first networking event post-pandemic. And I think as we're all getting used to meeting in person again, it might be a nice opportunity to get some tips about networking and how to get the best from your networking experiences. So I'm so delighted to have Jeni here. And so what I'm really interested in is your perspective on how to get the most from networking opportunities in person.
Oh, it's a big question, Colette. It's a big question. So for me, when it comes to in-person, I really missed in-person. I love in-person networking events. I think that's where we really kind of connect with each other, and you get to spend time in each other's presence. You get to kind of form that, because we met online already, haven't we?
Yeah,
And then we
did.
met in person, and it's so different because you just like, you get to know little like nuances and, you know, read facial expressions, body language. There's a lot more, and you build memories. So I'll remember now where we met, and it was a random place that we met as well, in person, wasn't it? So the in-person, I think it's a lot scarier, it's a lot more intimidating, where, you know, especially if you've either never done it before, if you're out of practice of doing it, but getting the most from it, start, I think, with, before you even get there, and start by being strategic. One, in your approach to selecting the events that you go to. Often people will pick the wrong events. So they might be the right event in that they fit into their schedule, or they offer a free buffet, which, don't get me wrong, love me a free buffet. But if those events aren't the right ones to achieve your objectives for networking, then they're never going to be successful. You're never going to get much out of them. So start by looking at what your objectives are, what you want to achieve from networking. Then be selective in the events you're attending. Think about where your target market will be, what events will they be drawn to, and then before you even get there, start doing a bit of research. See if you can find a delegates list online, see if you can contact the host, find out who else is going to be attending. GDPR kind of ruined, like, you used to be able to get your hands on a delegates list anywhere and everywhere, and that kind of went out the window. But you still can, you know, put out on social media that you're going to an event. Who else is going? Search for hashtags, and then start having conversations and pre-arranging meetings within the event before you even go. Yeah. And then it means that you know for a fact that you're going to get something out of it, because you've already kind of reduced that risk of taking serendipitous out of it. And I love serendipity in networking. You never know who you're going to chat to, like, oh, I love your shoes, or whatever. But if you can be strategic with your time investment, because I think we're all very aware now of the time we put in to traveling to go to in-person events. It's a lot more effort putting shoes on. I was just saying, I'm sat with my slippers on at home because we're used to that. But going out and about, again, you want to be strategic, pre-arrange stuff, do some legwork, research beforehand, and then make sure that you follow up. So a lot of networking is actually, it's not just the event itself, it's the wraparound. So make sure that you follow up with people, take notes. If you said to someone you're going to send them something or intro them to someone, do it. That builds trust. It nurtures the relationships that you're building. And then when it comes to actually the events itself, I think finding the ones that you're comfortable in so that you can be more relaxed and show who you are is really important. And then just, I think, giving yourself a bit of a chance to either rebuild post-pandemic or build up these skills of having conversations in real time, in person, because it's a skill. And like anything, if you don't do it for a while, that it dies down. And we're all so now used to communicating through technology, it's going to give yourself a little bit of a chance to kind of go into it and rebuild those skills again.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's really helpful. And in terms of that whole thing of sort of going to something again for the first time, an event you maybe never have gone to, some people will have got a new job in lockdown, or maybe even their first job in lockdown. And I'm interested in your perspectives on when you're going to a networking event from scratch. So it's lovely when you go to a networking event, you think, oh, that colleague's there, I must see them. I haven't seen that person in ages. I'll grab a coffee with them. But if you go into something and you potentially don't know anybody, have you got any tips for preparing for that and actually the experience of being there and feeling confident in that capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a lot to do with mindset. Imposter syndrome plays a massive part in a barrier for people, from stopping them from even attending events, never mind getting more out of them. I should say that my first ever networking event 16 odd years ago in Liverpool scared me that much that I hid in the toilets for most of it. So if anyone like is starting out and they're nervous, like just know that that's normal. It's okay. It would be weird if you weren't a little nervous walking into a room full of strangers. Like we're told as kids, stranger danger, don't speak to strangers. And then you're expected just to walk into a room and know how to talk to them and approach people. And it's not normal. So first of all, give yourself like a minute to allow yourself to feel that way. That's totally fine. I think the biggest mindset shift that really works, especially when you're starting out in networking, you've maybe just started a business, you've started a new role, whatever, is don't approach networking as a way of like business development. It is, don't get me wrong, it's a hugely beneficial marketing tool and amazing for business development, but don't think of it in that way. There's research that's proved that the biggest benefit of networking is the access to knowledge that you get. So if you can go into a networking event thinking, right, I am going to learn from these people, you can walk in there thinking, this is a room full of people that have got loads of different expertise and they've got different experience and they've run businesses and they've doing different stuff. I can go in there and learn from them. That will completely, like, it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of pressure on ourselves to go to a networking event and then sell ourselves, or like, oh, what if I deliver, you know, if I have to introduce myself and I stumble and I do it wrong? That's fine. You're just a person, just talk. And then when we go looking for knowledge, we also ask better questions. We're better listeners. Yeah. We dig out a lot more info that we can actually then take away and use in our roles and in our businesses. And going into that, I think that's a big mindset shift that really helps people and takes that pressure off. And it actually gets you more benefit than going in and trying to sell. No one wants to be sold at, but people want to talk about themselves. So if you can give people the chance to talk about themselves by asking really insightful questions and genuinely listening, then that's like a fantastic thing to do.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And certainly some of the best sort of partnerships and collaborations have come from those incidental conversations at a networking event. And that, I think that's really good guidance about the fact that you don't need to go there feeling like you have to sell, that actually some of the most valuable time you can spend is actually learning from people and asking them the questions. So I think that's really, really helpful. So if in the next sort of few weeks, somebody who's listened to this conversation has a networking event to go to that maybe they've never been to before, or maybe they have been to before, but they want to get something new from it, do you have maybe 2 or 3 top tips you can say, right, this is how you'll have the best experience when you get there? These are a few things to do in advance or at the event itself.
Yeah, so in advance, definitely try and do some research, reach out to other people that are attending, speak to the host. So the host of any networking event is going to be by far the most connected person there. Yeah. And it's their job they want you to get value from their events so that you keep coming and you tell other people. So talk to the host, you know, tell them, look, these are the kind of people that I'm looking to meet with, or say, look, this is my first networking event. I'm not really sure. I'm a bit nervous. They are there to help, and they really do want to help you. Yeah. When you get there a little bit early. So if it starts at like 10 o'clock, get there at like 1:45. It gives you a chance to settle into your surroundings. Yeah. Some people I know, and this works especially for if you are a bit more nervous, go and see the venue beforehand. That's quite a bit of like time input, but if it helps you relax, it's totally worth it. So anyway, get there a little bit early. If not, like go and visit the venue before so you know where things are and you can visualize it. I think that really helps. Or looking at the venue's website, a lot of them have now got virtual tours and things, which helps. So again, visualizing, going, get there a bit early. It means that you don't have to walk into a room full of strangers. It means that you get to walk in, chat with the host, settle yourself in, get a drink, whatever, and then people walk into your space. Yeah. If you can then try and look out for others who look nervous, if you see someone stood on their own at a networking event, go and talk to them, because they'll be more scared. I always say, like, networkers are like spiders. They're more scared of you than you are of them. So go and talk to them, welcome them over, try and take a bit of ownership of the event, not as if like you have to, you're not working there, but if you kind of think, put yourself in the mindset of a host, in that you want everyone there to feel welcome and included, that's going to help you keep an eye out for others, which is a really great way of starting any new relationship and any new connection. I think if you can, like I said already, go in there with that mindset of wanting to learn, but also maybe set yourself some other objectives, and don't be afraid to tell people. Like if you're at a networking event, you're chatting to someone, tell them like, oh, this is, at the minute I'm looking to learn about this, or I'm looking to connect with people that work in this area. If you know anyone, it would be great. And again, tell them if it's your first networking event, if if you're new in the world of networking, tell people, and they will instantly, I bet you, they'll be like, oh, come under my wing, I will look after you, because we've all been there. And I think the thing with networking is that it doesn't matter how successful you are, like how much money you make, what car you drive. Networking environments are scary for anyone and everyone. It's kind of, there's no rules there. So, be honest with people, be yourself, and just talk to them. They're literally just people, and everyone by default, by being at a networking event, is there to network. So remembering that, I think, is really important as well. And try not to, if you can't predict how a networking event's going to go, that's one of the beauties of it, but it's also one of the scary things about it. But if you can go in with an open mind and go in and hopefully be yourself, and don't feel like you have to, like, I've never worn a suit in my life to a networking event. Don't feel like you have to like dress in a suit or whatever. Be you, be colourful, stand out, do whatever that reflects you and your brand and your business and who you work for, and just go out there and just talk to people. They're just humans. They put the socks on one at a time in the morning. So
really good advice, and I love the idea that you're all there and you're equals, and you are all guests of the host who's organising the event. And if you can be yourself and just chat, and with a few of those practical tips, I know I've learned some new techniques, and I'm really looking forward to getting into more networking and meeting some really interesting people, and seeing what happens from those conversations and what collaborations come out of them, and all the learning. I think, I hope that everyone watching has been fired up about the next networking event that you have planned. And just want to say a huge thank you, Jeni, again, and hope to see you very soon.